Hi, my name is Jason with Cirq Rentals, and today I'm going to tell you a little bit about our GigaPower stove by Snow Peak. And this is our core backpacking stove in our rental fleet, and just an amazing all-around stove. I think it's one of the oldest backpacking stoves on the market. Of course, it's been updated and redesigned since its initial release. And the version we rent also includes the auto igniter, a piezo igniter, which is really nice as well. So I'm going to show you the stove today. It folds up in a really nice, small carry container, which is really great for your pack. And as you can see, folds up very small and compact. Really great little design here overall. Here you can see the piezo igniter on the front there. And then we package ours, our rental kit, with the windscreen. This doesn't come stock if you were to buy it at a store, but we like the windscreen. Obviously, you don't have to take it backpacking with you if you want to save some weight. But this is a great feature that just sort of slides over the top of your stove here. And it just slides, there are grooves in here, and it slides over the legs of the stove. Obviously you want to do this before you're using it when it's still cold, but then it will kind of rest like this and just protects the flame in your cooking surface from lateral wind, which is really nice. And the windscreen has a cutout on it for the auto igniter with a little cover on it. If you use, there's a version of the stove called the manual, which does not have the auto igniter, and if you're using that stove, you can just close that off on the windscreen protector. But we love the little windscreen protector. Without the windscreen protector, this backpacking stove weighs in at about 3.2 ounces, so still incredibly lightweight. And it's going to use an isobutane fuel canister. We like the Snow Peak, the GigaPower fuel canisters. They include a little bit of propane with the iso, with the butane, which is really nice because that lowers the ignition temperature of the fuel and of the stove. So you can use this down to, I think it's 14 degrees, and it'll still light and it'll still cook. Whereas some other canister fuels won't go down to such low temperatures. So we really like the Snow Peak GigaFuel. When you've got your stove folded up, you almost have to loosen the stove valve to fold it properly to store it. So whenever you're going to connect your fuel, make sure that you have that completely closed before you connect your fuel. And then you're just going to screw on that fuel canister. I try and keep my fingers a little bit away from that union point because I don't want to get any fuel on my fingers before I light the stove. So, and then I always spread the legs out as much as possible to give myself as stable a location as I can before I start cooking or using the stove. I'm going to pop out that turn valve, which will help me regulate my temperature and help me regulate my flame a little bit there. Before I light it, I'm going to go ahead and get some water ready. And today we're going to do a little bit of a cook test on it. We're using the titanium Trek 700, which is a 700 milliliter ultralight cooking pot. This is my personal one. We use the same one in our rental fleet. I have a brand new one here. This is what a brand new one would look like, or a lightly used Trek 700. This one's been on every adventure with me for about the last 25 years. It never leaves my pack. As you can see, I use it with stoves. I also use it over the fire. Probably the most versatile piece in my entire backpacking kit. I highly recommend, if you don't have one of these, pick this up or something like it. But we're going to cook on this today. And we're going to make some coffee. So we're going to do about a half liter. And the Trek 700 is really nice because it's graduated, so I can really easily see when I hit the half liter mark. It's also graduated for 8 ounces and 16 ounces, and most of your dehydrated backpacking meals are going to be something like 2 cups or 16 ounces. So it's really easy, and this will accommodate most of your backcountry cooking needs. So about half liter there. Turn this towards you so you can kind of see what I'm doing here on camera. But you got your little piezo igniter here, so you're going to push that in, click it, and you can hear it click. That's the little arc, the spark arcing there to light the stove. So I'm going to give it a little bit of fuel here and then click it at the same time. And there we go, we've got it lit. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up a little bit. You can adjust the temperature and the heat output as needed. We're going to keep it a little bit moderate today. And we're gonna see about how long it takes us to boil a ½ liter with this thing. Go ahead and throw our lid on, save a little bit of heat there. This stove will cook a liter of water in about 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. So for a ½ liter, we should be expecting about 2 minutes on a boil time, something like that. I'm already starting to see a few bubbles at the bottom of my pot here. It's about a minute. All right, we're at 2 minutes. Not quite at a rolling boil yet. We do have bubbles, quite a few bubbles on the bottom. All right, I'm starting to see some steam come out the top. It's always a good sign. We'll leave the lid on for a little bit longer here. We're about 240 right now. And I did not have the fuel totally open when we started this exercise, so that could be part of it. And my fuel canister is a little bit light, so could be a fuel pressure issue here. It's still not taking very much time. 2 minutes to be ready for a cup of coffee or a freeze-dried meal is pretty fast. We've got a little bit of a wind today, and it's about 60 degrees outside if you're trying to compare to your normal cooking temperatures. We're definitely boiling in there, and we're at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm not going to consider it a rolling boil quite yet. We'll give it a couple more seconds or minutes here. All right, there we are. We're at a rolling boil. We're right at 6 minutes. So again, I'm using an almost empty fuel canister. I think we're running on some low pressure there, and it's a little cooler and a little bit of a breeze here. The wind protector, the windscreen is really helping us out here. But about 6 minutes to bring a ½ liter of cold water up to boiling temperature and ready for a freeze-dried meal, dehydrated meal, or a pot of coffee. So that's a GigaPower 2 renewed stove by Snow Peak. This one is the auto igniter stove. They also make the stove in a manual where you just use a lighter or some other type of ignition source, match or something like that. It's a little bit lighter. But this one's not too bad, coming in at 3.2 without the windscreen, and the windscreen only adds a few ounces to your kit, but really allows you to cook a lot faster in a lot more adverse conditions. So that is our GigaPower 2 stove. It's available for rent or demo on Cirq-Rentals.com, and you can try out any of the gear that you see in our videos. Thanks for watching.